Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into the latest numbers from Forbes on the world's wealthiest people because, honestly, we're on the verge of a financial milestone that could happen any day now, the world's very first trillionaire. So let's just jump right in with the massive question that is completely shaking up the financial world and really redefining our whole idea of what it means to be rich. And let me be clear, this is not some far-off fantasy or a hypothetical question for the future. According to the absolute latest data from Forbes' real-time billionaire list, this is a very, very real possibility that could play out any day now. It all really just hinges on a few key things falling into place. Okay, look at this number. This staggering figure is the projected net worth of the world's richest person by the end of 2025. Just let that sink in for a second. That's almost $500 billion. And yeah, the person holding that number one spot is, you guessed it, Elon Musk. He's been at the top of the list since May of 2024 and is now on a path that could make him a history maker all over again. So what's the one thing that could push him over the edge? Well, it all comes down to a recent Tesla shareholder vote. They're looking at a massive pay package that's tied to some incredibly ambitious goals. We're talking about hitting huge market value targets and other big milestones. If that gets the green light, that could be the final nudge that sends his net worth soaring past that unbelievable trillion-dollar line. All right, let's keep going, because Musk isn't entirely alone at the top. But the club he's in, it is unbelievably exclusive. Get this. The combined net worth of just the top 10 richest people in the world is over $2 trillion. To give you some perspective, that is more than the entire annual GDP of countries like Canada or Brazil. All of that concentrated in just 10 people. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. When you look at who's in that club, it is overwhelmingly American. We're talking 9 out of the 10 members are from the United States, with only one person from France. So here's the kicker. Just to get your foot in the door of this top 10 list, the price of admission is a fortune of over $150 billion. That's the minimum. Okay, so now let's actually meet the members of this elite club. Let's see who they are and where they all stand as of late 2025. And here it is, the full rundown from Forbes. You can see Elon Musk sitting comfortably at number 1, followed by a who's who of tech giants like Oracle's Larry Ellison and Amazon's Jeff Bezos. As you go down the list, you see the founders of Google, the head of LVMH, and then you have names like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Ballmer. It's basically a list of the biggest names in global business. But, this list is not set in stone. Fortunes this big can swing wildly depending on the stock market. For example, LVMH's Bernard Arnault just made a huge jump up to number 7. But at the exact same time, 4 other people in the top 10 actually saw their net worth drop, which just goes to show you how volatile things can be at the top. And to really wrap your head around the scale of Musk's lead, just look at this chart. The gap between him and the next 2 guys, Larry Ellison and Jeff Bezos, is just immense. He isn't just number 1, he is playing in a completely different league right now. So to really understand what this incredible concentration of wealth at the top actually means, let's zoom out. Let's move beyond this American-dominated list and get a bit of a wider global perspective. So let's take a look at the wealthiest person in India, who also happens to be the only person from Asia in the exclusive $100 billion club, Mukesh Ambani. Okay, so he's the chairman of this massive conglomerate, Reliance Industries, and his fortune is huge, almost $110 billion. But even with all that incredible wealth, which is more than the GDP of a lot of countries, he still only comes in at number 16 on the global list. That really hammers home just how extreme the concentration of wealth is right at the very top. So, after all these names and numbers, what's the big takeaway here? Why does this race to $1 trillion and this intense focus of wealth at the very top really matter? Well, what it all boils down to is this. We are watching an unprecedented pileup of wealth at the very, very top. I mean, the gap between the number 1 spot and even the number 10 spot is enormous. And the things driving it, tech valuations and global markets, are just making that gap grow faster than ever before. And that kind of leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. As we're standing right here on the verge of seeing the world's first trillionaire, What is this new chapter in the history of wealth? What does it truly signify for the rest of us? Definitely something to chew on.